Hello everybody, welcome to another video. I'm just at the end of the mad mile here, waiting at traffic lights, waiting for the numpty to appear. It's not going to be long. It's this red car that's in the outside lane. Why it's in the outside lane, I have no idea. Especially as there's no one in the middle lane. I just found that a little bit weird. Notice the great big P on the back of the car. It's apparently just passed its test. Now, it's just passed its test, it's inexperienced, and why would the hell would you block up your back windows with plastic bags and everything else? Not for me, no. Get them off of there. You need to be able to see out your back window, especially when you're that inexperienced. Why is it in the outside lane? Now it gets a little flash from the Burke in the Merc here. It does move over, but we'll have a little look at the Burke in the Merc. It's actually turning right here. And it's that impatient it has to flash the car in front to get out of its way when it's turning right there. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But we're still on this guy with the P on it. Maybe that P means piss poor driving. Probably, the way it's going at the moment. Now it pulls out again. It's not going fast enough to catch that car in front. The car in front is going very slow and it's dawdling trying to get into this petrol station. But it wasn't going fast enough and it made the car in the outside lane slow down. So that's two things straight away that it's done wrong. And we still stay on it because his piss poor driving continues. Now I'm thinking, the indicator comes on, you're turning right here. You left it a little bit late, but you're turning right. No, he's not. He's going straight on, but from the third lane again. Now, can anyone explain to me what that was all about? Because I have no idea. I'm trying to work out what you would be thinking if you're a new driver, old driver, foreign driver, someone pissed out your head. Why would you go out into the outside lane when there's 3 lanes there and they're empty and you've gone out to the outside lane? You're not overtaking anything. So maybe it was because he's turning right here. No, but he's still got to be out in the outside lane. The middle lane is empty. Why are you not in the middle lane? Bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. And I really cannot understand why you would block up your back windows when you're an inexperienced driver. I don't know. It's a bit odd. So it continues to be in the outside lane, which merges into two lanes here. The 3 lanes go into 2, and it goes into the outside lane. Or it stays in the outside lane, but now it does go into the inside lane. Some of you know what's going to happen, don't you? He's moved into the inside lane so he can undertake the car in front. That's a new driver apparently. Didn't take him long to pick up a hell of a lot of bad habits, did it? Now in this clip, we're off to the airport, Gatwick Airport, the North Terminal. If I was going to the South Terminal, I'd be in the left-hand lane because that left-hand lane becomes just for the South Terminal. But I'm going to the North Terminal, so I need to be in this lane or the outside lane, one or the other. The car in front wants the South Terminal, but he's in the wrong lane. There isn't really a gap there for him to get into, but he's going to make one anyway. Now the thing is, if you cock up on this roundabout, you can actually turn left and go into the South Terminal from my lane that I'm in. You don't have to be in that left-hand lane to go in there. You just go left now. Nothing's stopping you. Nothing's saying you can't do that. So why cut someone up at the bloody roundabout? Bit bizarre. Anyway, we're off to the North Terminal, and I get quite a lot of requests to say, can you show us how to pick someone up or drop someone off at a terminal, just in case I have to do it myself. And it's like, okay, this is the North Terminal, so if you ever get a trip to the North Terminal, this is how you go, this is how you do it. Again, you stay over to the left-hand lane because it has got its own designated lane to take you into the North Terminal. Again, you can do it from the middle lane, but why would you? You might as well stay in the left-hand lane and just, you know, you don't have to wait for anyone at the roundabout then. So we're following an Audi, which never is a good thing, is it? Following a bloody Audi. And you do have to change lanes in this one. You do have to go to the middle lane. You can't stay in this lane because that'll take you to the car park. It's on the floor. It tells you on the floor and it tells you up above. So we do have to change lanes just like the Audi has. And funny enough, the Audi indicated, didn't it? It must have found where that lever is. But it don't last long. It doesn't. It never lasts long. Look, he's changing lanes again, but he's forgot already where that bloody indicator lever is. Anyway, middle lane will take you to where you want to be. Where the Audi is will take you the same place. But to get closer to the terminal, you want this left lane. You can go to the right hand lane, doesn't matter, you just park on the right. I'm parking on the left, and look at this space to my left hand side. It's quite big. Bear in mind, you don't want to get too close to the car in front, because normally you're doing luggage and everything. So you give them a little bit of space, but there's still plenty of room for at least 2 cars behind me. So we look at it from the rear now. And you saw the big space behind me, yeah? We're looking at the idiot behind me now. That space wasn't big enough for him because he did no forward planning. He's moved in way too late, done it too sharp, and cocked it right up. Now I've cut it forward a bit now. I've got the person out of the car, moved the luggage and all that sort of stuff. So now I can move forward and give him a hand to get him out of the way.
Still cannot get into that gap. Absolute idiot.
The guy behind him now does exactly the same thing. But is that sign up there not big enough? Drop off. It's a drop off zone here. Okay? It's not pick up, drop off. If you're picking someone up, you have to go into the car park. And it does cost a little bit more. It costs £6 to do this. But if you're picking someone up, you go into the car park. The person behind me, I don't know if you noticed, he had no one in his car. So he's gone to the wrong place to pick someone up. This guy here in the Range Rover is doing exactly the same. He's picking someone up, which again, you're not supposed to do. And I think if you get caught doing this, you can get a fine, but who's going to bloody do it? Who seriously is going to be bothered about that? You know, the drop-offs and pickups. It does tell you the signs are there, but people just bloody ignore them. So we're hanging about here. I'm sorting myself out, getting back in the car and turning the app back on, or completing the job really, and then the app takes me to wherever. So we're going to be pulling out in a second, and then I'm going to show you how you leave this airport. Now for me, I don't go back on the M23 because I'm not going to get a job on the M23. And if we look in front, look at that idiot. He's done exactly the same thing. Can't fit in a huge space. We'll call that space on the right hand side, but he does that. These people are just brain dead. Anyway, I never go back to London on the M23 because I'm never ever going to get a job that way. So I always go the A23 or the A217 back in because there's a fair chance that I might get a job going that way. I'm never going to get a job on the motorway. It looks like the London's finest there, the black cabbie, was also picking up. Yeah, so lots of people doing what they're not supposed to be doing at the airport. Now, if we look at this road sign here up above us, I'm in the long stay car park lane. Well, it's not. It is and it isn't. So if we go through these little barrier things here, oh look, it changes to the A23. Yeah, the good old British workforce and their road signs useless again. And you just go down here and you're on the A23, and if you're a private hire driver, you might be able to pick up a job. So that's Gatwick North Terminal. And this is Epsom. Yes, we're back in Epsom, where people tend to drive on the right-hand side of the road.
Try driving on your side of the road, mate, yeah? Fucking hell. You've got to make some sort of effort. Another one. They're hugging that side of the road, the right-hand side of the road, rather than the left. What's wrong with these people?
Now, some of you might remember this place from the last video that I did. I picked up these two guys that was going to Remembrance Day. On that video, I made a mistake with my maths. I said my car was £249 per week. What idiot would pay that? It's £259 a week. Yes, it's £10 more per week. Oops, that works out quite a bit of money when you consider that's over 4 years. Yes, a lot of money.
Shall we play a game?
Okay, today's game is Guess My Speed. There's going to be one of them flashy things that flashes up with my speed. As you can see, it's a 20 mph speed limit. We'll be coming up to a bridge in a second, and straight after the bridge, that's where the sign will be. There's be a set of traffic lights, and behind the set of traffic lights there'll be a flashy little thing that shines up with my speed. I will cover it up so you don't see the speed limit. As you can see there in the distance, it's gone red, but I'm going to cover it up with this giant sack of shit. Why? Because I can. And there we go. I'm just going to cover it up. And can you guess my speed? You haven't got long. Now, how the hell can I be doing 21 miles an hour? I'm over the speed limit by 1 mile an hour, and I've got a happy face and it's green. Answers on a postcard, please. So just to let you know, that was Battersea. We are still in Battersea for this clip here. We are looking at the Cyclist, the three up there in front. Well, I say three of them. It should be the two blokes at the back. They're the ones, well, I presume that one in the middle is a bloke. They're the ones that are, they're not very good, especially the third one. The third one's got no road management whatsoever. As you can see, I've gone past them, but they catch me up because of the traffic lights. And then they end up in front of us, and then we can see how bad their road management is. The one at the end, the one at the back anyway. The girl at the front does nothing wrong. Nothing wrong at all. But the two behind want to go faster. They want to overtake her, and they can't do it in that lane. So the road opens up a little bit, so they're going to try and go past her. Now the guy who's behind her, he can just about do it. The guy behind him can't. He can't get into that gap without cutting her up. So he's got to go into the road. Nothing wrong in that legally. It's just that that's not what he wanted to do. And that's poor road management from him. As you can see, straight after, he's back in the bike lane. And they come up to a red light with a bus trying to turn right. And now we have a little Christmas miracle. Yeah, that's enough of that. I made that. 4 went through red lights and 2 stopped. That's miracle enough for me. Anyway, we're going towards this Wandsworth roundabout now, and I'm going to show you another numpty. There's a bus lane. You see the bus lane to my left-hand side? Okay, just because there's a bus, there isn't a bus there, it's still a lane there. So the lane that I'm in, I do want to turn left, but that bus lane, even though it's not a bus lane after the lights, that's not my lane. My lane is the second lane, isn't it? It's still the second lane, whether there's a bus in that bus lane or not. Not according to this guy on my right hand side, it's not though. Apparently I should be moving over and that lane is his. As you just cut straight across me. I do go into the lane. There wasn't a bus there, obviously. He hasn't got a clue where he's going, but then he is a Burke in a Merc. Now, if you haven't got a clue where you're going, why the hell are you overtaking things and in the outside lane? It just shows that you are just one hell of a crap driver. Another bit of poor road management. Now, one of the things I get a lot of stick from in the comment section is about pedestrians crossing the road. Yeah, I'm not saying that they can't cross wherever the hell they want to, but find a safe place to cross. And that's what it's all about. That's what the Green Cross Code man used to say. Find a safe place to cross. He never said you can't cross there. Just find a safe place to cross. And the reason why is because there's so many idiots like this.
Jesus, do you want to do that a bit fucking faster? Fucking hell. Anyone crossing the road in front of him and they're fucking dead.
Now, I know the usual suspects will be in the comment section saying, well, that's not the pedestrian's fault, it's the guy on the bike. Yes, it is the guy on the bike's fault, but that doesn't help you when you're dead, does it? I mean, I'm going to show you it from the rear, and you'll see that if there was anyone crossing in front of me at all, because of this van here, they'd be dead.
Jesus, do you want to do that a bit fucking faster? Fucking hell. Anyone crossing the road in front of him and they're fucking dead.
And you know what? I don't think the camera actually done it justice of just how fast that guy was going. And because of the van behind me, there was about maybe 60 feet that he just could not see in front of him. And the speed he went down the inside. Anyone crossing the road in front of any of them vans, and they're brown bread. Road management again now. Hear my indicator turning right? You know what's going to happen, didn't you? A numpty's going to come behind me. But before we do that, I'm going to take you back in time just a few seconds as I pulled away from that van. Look at the pedestrian on the left-hand side. He is looking. He's doing a pretty good job of looking, but he's also looking at his phone. And the speed of that bike, if that would have been a few seconds later, ooh, that could have been bloody interesting, couldn't it? Yeah. So we'll continue up to these traffic lights and you can hear my indicator going. Now the lane to my right hand side is obviously got a bit of a queue in it, where my lane is just me waiting at the lights. And these people, these absolute numpties, they don't see that I'm indicating. All they see is a shorter queue. And what that does is, because he's not turning right and he's not indicating, people will get behind him because it's still a shorter queue and they think that they can go straight on. But they can't, because I will be blocking their path because I'm turning right. Now I have speeded this up a little bit because we were waiting at these lights for quite a while. And I've got to say, as aggressive as this may sound, if I was one of them vehicles that over to my right hand side here, I would not be letting this car in. I'm sorry, I know how that sounds, but I would not be letting this numpty in. But the van leaves a big enough space for it to get in. But there is obviously a car that's followed him that didn't know that I was indicating to turn right because he was blocking the path. Well, actually, there is two cars behind me. There's a red car behind this toy car. Now, when I go, you'll see this red car. You can see the mentality of these people. It pulls out to the left-hand side there and cuts up the toy car. You can see the mentality of it. Now the toy car is in the way of the car that's turning right that was coming from the opposite direction. What an absolute shit show. Now in this clip, I'm going to be having a go at the British workforce again. And I do mean the people in the offices that make these decisions as well, okay? The cycle lane. You're watching the cycle lane here. What is the actual point of it? Seriously, what is the actual point of that cycle lane? I think the people who make these have never driven a car before, and they definitely haven't been on a bike before, because they would not make them like this. It just doesn't make sense to be in that bike lane at these set of traffic lights. I'll show you why in a second. We'll just let this run through a little while, and then I'll point out a few things that is just totally wrong with this bike lane. The bike lane to my left hand side obviously has got its own set of traffic lights. One up high and one down low. You can see that. Over to my right hand side and straight on, we've got red lights, but we've got a filter light that goes straight on. Now when that filter light goes straight on, the bike lane will have a green light as well. I am in a left turn only lane, so I cannot go now. Everyone else can go except for me and the people behind me that's turning left. Look how quickly the bike lane lights changed. Now I can go. Can you see the problem there? I hope you can see the problem there. I've got to go across a bike lane for starters, and we know our bikes keep going through red lights nowadays. But can you see the actual nonsense of having a bike lane there anyway? Let me show you. We go here. Now, they got a red light. The bikes have got a red light. To going straight on, they got a green light. Cars, that car that's going through the green light has got a green light. So bikes can be on the road whether there's a bike lane there or not. So why would they be waiting at a red light? They would be in the road. Wouldn't they? If they know this road, they would not be using that bike lane because they'd be waiting at a red light when they got a green light if they're in the road. Does that make any sense to you? Or am I going bloody doolally here? Answers on a postcard if you think I'm going doolally. Now in this clip we are in Mitcham. And when was the last time you guys had an eye test? When you get a little bit older, they're supposed to be every 2 years, every 3 years if you're a private hire driver. Yep. Now, what can you see coming around this bend? Can you see that great big fuck off arrow there that's saying, I'm in the road, get over to the left hand side? Can you see that great big arrow there? Yeah? You must have been able to see that from a long way. If you didn't see that from a long way, then maybe you need an eye test. Just like some of these people behind me now. So we've obviously gone to the rear camera now. We've got a learner that's behind that big arrow. Really slow reaction time from whoever's telling the learner what to do there. Really slow reaction time there. And very hard on the brakes there as well. But the VW didn't see it at all. Now, oh look, there's an arrow. I better put my indicator on and move over. Maybe the learner was in its view, but you can see over the top. You can see round. It's big enough arrow. It's a great big fucking arrow right in the middle of the road, and you can't see it. So you're one of them drivers that can't see beyond the front of your bonnet. Where's it going now? And look at this one. He actually moves out into the lane with the great big fucking arrow in it. Are these people deranged? Are they? It's not just eyesight, is it? They're just fucking... Oh, I was going to say something else there. But look, now they've both got to be indicating to come back in. Really? Are people really... Well, they are really that stupid, aren't they? And I'm going to pause it here because I know some of you will be shouting at the television saying he's talking about an eye test, but he didn't see that car go through the red light at the beginning of the clip. Obviously, I did. And if you shouted at the telly, well done. But if you didn't shout at the telly saying he's just gone through a red light or he didn't see that guy go through the red light, maybe you do need an eye test after all. Now in this clip we're at the famous Rose Hill roundabout. We are looking at this car in front of us and unfortunately he has got another P on it. But we're also looking behind us at this guy here who is in the correct lane at the moment but doesn't want to wait in the traffic, so it has to go into the wrong lane and then cuts right across everyone to actually get into the correct lane. There he goes. But to get in front of one car. Well done. So we are back on the car with the P. Doing nothing wrong at the moment, although it is going a little slow. But it's a new driver, so we expect that, don't we? And it doesn't take this bend particularly well neither. But again, it's a new driver. It might be the first time it's actually been on that roundabout. And Rose Hill roundabout is, well, it's a pretty poor roundabout. But it was in the correct lane. It just was a bit slow and a bit dodgy round the bend. But while we're waiting for this new driver to make some proper mistakes that it shouldn't really be doing, I just want to say a big thank you for all you people that have been sending me in music. After showing you how I made my music, I've received some cracking songs. A lot of them have been, well, not a lot, some of them have been attacking me, but it's funny. It's been done in the correct way and I don't mind it one little bit. So thanks for that. So we get back to this new driver now, shall we? For some reason, it's gone into the outside lane, lane 2. But there is a right turning up here, so maybe it's turning right. Maybe it's just out nice and early, which is fine. Don't have a problem with that, really. The earlier the better, as long as you're not holding anyone up. That's fine by me. But is it going to be turning right? Obviously, it can't turn right at these traffic lights. It's a little bit further down at the next set of traffic lights. You've got to do a loop to go to instead of turning right here, you've got to do a loop to get down that road. Yeah, it really helps traffic out. No, it does, seriously. It helps the traffic out here. I'm not being sarcastic there for a change. But for some strange reason, it's not turning right there. So the question is, like it was earlier on in this episode, why are you out there in the outside lane? You've just passed your driving test, apparently. Even if you haven't just passed your driving test and that is an experienced driver in there, why are you in the outside lane? The inside lane is empty. Why are you not there? Unless you are turning right, obviously. We've just gone past one right turn. You're not turning right at this one neither. So move over. You've got a Mercedes behind you. Now, a Mercedes, they're not known for their patience. So it's not even turning right here to go into Tesco's. So why are you out there in the outside lane? Can someone please explain to me this? As we go to the rear camera now, as you saw there, I don't know if you did see, but there was a small child in the back there in a baby seat. Another distraction. But still, why are you out there in the outside lane? Is there a method? Is there some sort of thinking that I'm missing here? Because this is twice in one episode. Someone that's fairly recently passed their driving test, you would think, and they've stayed in the outside lane and they're overtaking nothing. Look what's behind them. They've got a Mercedes and a BMW, not known for their patience, and they obviously want to go faster than this car. This car, by the way, is not going the 40 mile an hour speed limit neither. It's doing around about 30 miles an hour all the time. So it's not even, it's not even keeping up with the traffic. As you can see, I'm leaving it behind, and I'm no boy racer. So yeah, I'm a bit puzzled to the thinking of these people when they've just passed their test. Everything must be still fresh in their mind of what they should and shouldn't do. So how are they getting this so wrong? As we pass another right turn here that it's not turning right at. We're still in the same position as we were all the way back at Rose Hill roundabout. There's another right turn there. It's not turning right there neither. Yeah, we're still in the same position as we were all the way back at Rose Hill roundabout when this car was in front of me. It's just out there in the outside lane in front of me rather than being directly in front of me. Now, you're going to get this. Obviously, the Mercedes is getting a little bit peed off here, and we'll get too close to it. Now, if that new driver is looking in its mirror and sees the Mercedes right up that close, it's going to get even worse, isn't it? It's slow. It's driving really slow now. But you've brought that on yourself. Why are you in the outside lane? Get over. But it can't get over now unless it hits the brakes and comes in front of me, or it puts its foot down and goes in front of the cars that's to the left-hand side of it now. It's made its own problem there, and as I keep saying, I know I keep saying it, but I don't get the thinking of these people that are out in the outside lane like this, especially when you've just passed your test. To be fair to the BMW here though, it's kept a nice distance and it's keeping patient. The Mercedes, however, isn't, and the Mercedes does look to undertake it here in a second, but there's a car to its left-hand side, so if the car wasn't there, I'm sure it would have done it earlier. But as it goes to do it, the car in front of it with the P on is actually turning right. Are you telling me that it's turning right here going in towards Kingston? It's not Kingston really, but it's Cheam that way, but Kingston's a lot further on. But yeah, it's turning right here. So you're telling me it's been in the outside lane since Rose Hill roundabout to turn right there? Not for me. Oh no, not for me. So now, in this clip,
shall we play a game?
Yep, shall we play a game again? Guess my speed. Again, we're going to have one of them flashy things that flashes up with my speed limit on it. This is a 30 mile an hour speed limit, and in a little while on the left hand side you'll see a bus stop, and just in front of the bus stop is where the flashy thing is. So you haven't got that long because you should be able to see the bus stop in a second. Now I'm going to cover this up with something different this time. A giant cat's head. Yeah, because I can. So there's the flashy thing that I'm covering up. So how fast do you think I'm going? Yes, 40 miles an hour. I've just incriminated myself at doing 40 miles an hour on a 30 mile an hour road. I haven't really. There's no trick photography neither. Listen to my reaction.
40? I'm not doing fucking 40.
Yeah, and you might have caught the siren in the background there. It wasn't me that was doing 40. It was this thing that's just about to pass me. Yeah, so a little bit of a trick question there. But up there in the distance there's a roundabout. Would you pull out in front of an ambulance going that speed? He did.
You mean to tell me you could not see that before you pulled out on it? You couldn't see that, no?
Anyway guys, that's it for today. Thanks a lot for watching and I will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.